receptive, but we also caught the technician guy whose name was Marius, the tech, I think.
That sounds
And through him, we learned that there is a backup at the Duros station in orbit. So that's like a secondary point that we need to hit. We did manage to destroy the thing, the data banks, and then we went to get out of the building. The security guard lady that I had met when we came in tried to stop us. I managed to shoot her, and I rolled a triumph, so I stunned her like point blank without anybody else noticing, because the alarms had gone off. So everybody exited the building.
So at like the fire drill assembly area, the building evacuation assembly area, which happened to also be like the tram platform, the public transport platform at the front of the at the building. And so I think we kind of we screen wiped. You guys got on the subway. Yeah, then went back to the spaceport.
Yeah. So I should note that I took a couple of the talents here. I took toughened, so it's +2 to my wound threshold. And I have a couple of the talents for the tactician, the commander tactician. Just mentioning them so you know that when I start pulling them out in combat, I used to have sidestep. I still have it, which makes it harder for them to hit me. I have swift, which no penalties when moving through difficult terrain, and I took now bodyguard, which once per round I can do a bodyguard maneuver if somebody's in engaged range to me. Like Ivan or a civilian or something, then I can take some strain, 1 point of strain, and that upgrades the enemy's attack against the guy I'm bodyguarding, right? I guess they'll attack me, but if they try to attack my charge, then they get upgraded.
As a maneuver?
Yeah.
Does it have an action cost, or I suppose is it a maneuver?
It's once per round, and it says the bodyguard maneuver. So I understand it to be a maneuver.
Okay. So, and I guess the next question is sidestep is
also a maneuver, and both of them have a cost and strain, so they're not free. You have to pay for it. Sidestep is the same thing, but for me.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm getting shot at, I can spend 1 strain, spend a maneuver, and their difficulty gets upgraded by 1.
That's kind of cool from the perspective of the kind of maneuvers that one takes out of turn.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. Okay, so let's do the duty chart. So I think you guys each have 15 just as starting duty, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be conservative and say let's throw 2 on that from sort of the conclusion of the objective, kind of the partial conclusion of the objective from last session. That seems like a kind of it needs to go somewhere. So then that would be 17 each. So then that would be up to 34. So 1 to 17 will be one of these plucky people, and another, and then 18 to 34 would be another one of these.
The other guy.
Yeah, yes. the other guy. So yeah. Who's 1 to 17?
Start with Ivan, because everything is about Ivan.
It is.
Okay, and one day we'll have to. I'm gonna have to discover what motivation, because that colors your why y'all are are in the fight, because I think I'm supposed to give extra XP for acting towards motivation and within motivation.
That's true. Okay. I used to have that written down.
We have a poorly behaved bedtime child downstairs.
Uh-oh.
I can hear on the monitor. I'm not being requested, but we are live. It's real life.
Oh, look at that. That's us. Get the hell out. Oh, gee. Technology is unbelievable. All right.
It is. Yeah. I'm fairly surprised by what we're capable of.
Right on.
It's not super easy. It's not super easy to do this, but it's gotten. I mean, I can't imagine what was this like in 2008 to try and do something like this. Like the internet did things like this, but not us little turtles named Mac. I didn't know how to do that. I'll say that much. So anyway, I guess we will jump over the question of motivation for today. But I, as a game master, probably just need to find that out away from the table a different time, perhaps. But for duty, you guys do know what duty arrows you are. So let's roll a D100.
And we also need to roll, the Destiny dice. Yeah. So, Ivan, you're rolling the percentile, or should I?
Okay, I'll roll it. Let's see. Roll. 13.
Boom. That's you.
Oh, that's me.
And we're off to a good start with, I just added some
I believe I never declared my duty, did I? To you?
I haven't heard. No.
It would be sabotage.
Okay.
Oh.
There's a Beastie Boys song that I allowed to
applicable
play in my head.
I'd plug my bass in right now, but it's too much.
There's a time-honored tradition of Star Wars bass, heavy metal bassoning.
There was that big thing with the Rogue One trailer where somebody took it and did that. They put it to sabotage, and that sounded great. That looked better than the Star Trek thing that they did with it. But hey, that's a huge fight. We don't really need to get into. So.
Another time.
Is there a problem?
Yes.
So what did we roll on this D100? A 13. Is that right?
Roll 13. Yep.
All right.
And I put a black destiny on the. How do I put it? Add another destiny. Just
the little blue arrow up. So we're off. Off to an auspicious start, yeah.
Yeah, 2 black destiny. There you go, CJ. Have all the black destiny you want. Man.
Enjoy.
Yeah, crush us at will. Thank you.
Okay, so we find ourselves flying towards the South Polar settlement on Gorham, which is this vast world of low-lying jungles. The world itself is perhaps 2 or 3 times larger than Earth, so the gravity is maybe 1 1/3 or 1 1/2 times heavier there. But that also means that there's maybe, I don't know what the math is, but that means there's 8, 10 times as much surface as there is here on Earth. It's a vast world. And that's made even more acute because it only has like low-lying oceans, very shallow seas, and with that in mind, there's an interesting thing about the polar caps, the ice caps on this world, is that the megafauna of this planet is sort of interested in the freshwater lakes as a watering ground, and there are different ways that water finds its way towards the equator, carried by plants, carried by seeds and by things of that nature, but also by animal life that migrates southward, or even finds ways to reproduce, similar to how ripe, wet fruits do here. There's animals that have young, which are sort of just morsels of water that are then sent out into the world. Sometimes as an egg for themselves, sometimes as a morsel for other beings. How all that makes sense is neither here nor there, but I mean to say that there's you find yourself flying through a canyon as the mountaintops grow snowier, and you move kind of past the terminus of daylight and into this region of perpetual twilight at the South Pole, and the very tall. There's a lot of megafauna to the scale of dinosaurs here on this planet. And they rely on many appendages, or they're kind of like caterpillars, or like little many tentacled slugs, because of the heavy gravity. But they're nevertheless very large. And in this particular canyon, it's not unlike a traffic way on a metropolis. There's even little bioluminescent lights on the little tentacled snail appendages of these things. And I imagine that maybe we peer down from above on the shuttlecraft as it makes its way in the canyon, and we begin kind of hearing from outside of the craft some sort of banter that's going on in the cockpit.
Biology is wonderful, don't you think?
It's one needs to be careful. They're so large, might squish you, and not even realize you're there. As long as we keep our distance, we should be fine. I don't know why the shepherds have chosen this far south for their home, but it's cold, and well, I don't know.
It's giant creatures that would make even a hut look attractive.
Yeah. So something like a shaggy semi-truck sized caterpillar lumbers, like a column of them in a herd, lumbers southward, and in the opposite column there are slithering creatures that would not be out of place in the mythos, making a northward migration, kind of, and they keep to their own side of the road. And so it is that I will flip a destiny, and from the canyon wall, hiding in the canyon wall, a creature is going to flick out a frog-like tongue at a tasty morsel which is flying by, or it thinks it is thus, which is the shuttlecraft. It's going through a lean time. This is not normally when it would see such flying beasts crossing its path, and so it is that I think it's a melee attack. Basically, I'm given to think it's a melee attack. It just has sufficient reach. And so it'll be difficulty 2 for the creature to begin with. And so the Destiny flip is just for the random encounter. And I'm going to give it an advantage die, a boost die for its kind of hidden position, and it kind of there's a lot of distractions in the form of the pretty creatures with their headlights and their tail lights below, and thus the frog tongue lances out and perhaps impacts on the hull, or perhaps only grazes the cockpit. So going to the roll.
Evasive maneuvers.
Okay. So I think what we should go ahead and do is, rather than jumping straight onto the melee attack, let's roll initiative. So I'm going to roll.
Oh yes, the one green die. Hooray!
I'm going to roll cool for the creature. And I probably should give it a blue die because it's waiting in ambush here. It's a no effect. So I have one success from that first roll. Tiebreaker. In the cockpit, Davian, you managed to unglue your eyes from the spectacle below just in time to react to what is almost certainly going to be a hostile action from this frog-like creature that clutches the walls. It's somewhere between a spider and a frog. It probably has characteristics of both. It certainly has vicious-looking mandibles. Yeah.
So do we treat it as my initiative or like a slot?
It's you. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a slot. I mean, yeah. Sorry, it's a slot. You can warn 1v4n. Yeah, that's how this game is.
Sure.
I need to learn to be a good boy. I'm gonna fix the initiative.
I scream, "Look out! Look out! Go faster! Get out of the way! Get us out of the way!"
I just scream back, shoot it, you idiot, and just pull us into a ridiculous roll. Complete evasive maneuvers.
So I think I believe that you upgrade the difficulty for any attack. If you do that as an action, then I think it's an upgraded difficulty, or I don't know. Shall we take a moment to learn it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a moment to learn.
Okay.
Page 245 of Age of Rebellion requires a speed of 3+. I'm assuming the ship has it.
I believe. Yeah, absolutely.
We're cruising along, so. It upgrades the difficulty of the dice pool once for all attacks made against the ship until the end of the pilot's next turn. It also makes it harder for us to hit.
So that is evasive maneuvers.
Yes.
So that is a maneuver. So then, as an action, from the pilot seat, I believe gain the advantage is the primary thing. Yeah. Or you can shooty shoot. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can take another advantage, or you can take another maneuver. That's sort of the action economy from the pilot seat So evasive maneuvers, one maneuver, good to go, done.
But it seems like the speed has to be 3+. So I need to be going that fast already?
So let's assume.
So maybe that's you punch it or something. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's give you some speed from the context, the fiction that we're inhabiting, and I believe that our ship is perfectly capable of speed 4. So a cruising speed of 3 seems not particularly hazardous to kind of to the current context. Yeah. So I think you're maybe going 3 already is probably not off. So with a going 3 already, I believe moving. You could move from close. We're at close range with the creature. Right. And so you could move away to short with your second maneuver. If you wanted to give up your action to move away at this speed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then we'll move to the creature slot, and so you do a quick roll and tuck the ship away to the other side of the canyon. The creature needs to accelerate, and so the creature needs to punch it, and so it will take some strain to go up to its maximum speed, and so it leaps to the far side of the canyon ahead of you in your path. And,
nice.
And is able to return to close range. And then from there, that's 2 maneuvers. So then it's taking a good deal of strain just to get back to where it is. And then it will take its normal action after 2 maneuvers to try and attack. And the difficulty is upgraded. So
that's right.
I'm looking at my dice app, and I think that this is going to be it's going to start out as 2 green and a yellow from its perspective. I think I want to get some context on this creature. I didn't plan this.
That's okay. That's right on. That's great.
Yeah. So for firing, it's all about the silhouette, right? For vehicle
it
combat.
It is the difference in silhouettes changes the difficulty. So I believe that at close range, the difficulty it's relative to the weapon. So I think if you're closer than the weapon's normal range, then the difficulty goes down. So it's like 2 purple at the weapon's normal range. And so this is just a close range weapon, 1 size larger than your ship. So at silhouette 4, the Star Commuter 2K is it's in that same class as the Millennium Falcon and the Tiderium Shuttle and so on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me just okay. I think that it's probably so this thing is quite strong. With Okay, yeah, that's rough, but I think I underestimated its level of competence with this. So I'm rolling 2 green and 2 yellow, and the difficulty is normally 2 purple, coming back at me, but you upgraded it with your evasive maneuvers roll.
It'll be purple and red. Yeah.
Yep. And so I'm going to say that the creature is very hungry, and I'm going to flip the second destiny back over so it's full white. And so I'm going to roll right here. playing the commit charge here? Have I missed anything?
Did we say the silhouette of the thing was what?
The silhouette of the creature is 5.
The same?
It's 5.
Okay, so it's just one difference. If it's one difference, then the difficulty stays at average.
Okay.
It's only when it's a change of more than 2 steps in the silhouette thing that it changes.
Is it 2 or more? Or is it?
I think it
2?
says if firing vessel has the same silhouette as the target, or the silhouette is 1 larger or 1 smaller than the target, it stays at 2. Yeah.
So that's within the. If you could do something to finagle your silhouette to a different size, like for example, there are ships with signature jammers and so on.
Okay.
So anyway, the creature is able to. It does a whole bunch of stuff. Or rather, it reaches out with its tongue, which wanders across the cockpit, and it's able to continue to pursue. I need to go downstairs to tuck people into bed.
Sure. No problem. See, this is. Yeah, go ahead. This is where the dice are interesting, because that roll means that it was doing a pretty good job of shooting the tongue at us, right?
All right.
But it's thanks to 1V's upgrade, because of the evasive maneuvers, that we get the 2 failures canceling his successes. You see that? So
yeah, no, I have this vision of this thing coming out and the ship just rolling around and
corkscrewing, yeah.
and David probably almost throwing up.
Yeah, exactly. like hanging on to yeah. That's great.
And if I was the game master at this point, I would give you some kind of black dice for being nauseous.
Exactly.
Just rereading through that. Here I am, playing the pilot, and the one part of the book I'm not really good at is the starship combat thing. It's interesting. All the things that you would think of as being actions, like evasive maneuvers, where they're not. They're maneuvers, and there's other things that are actions, and that's really
it's a little bit complicated in the sense that you have to take you have to take the action and the maneuver, so you have to be thinking of what you're doing, right? Because there's sometimes the tendency of going, no, I'll just do evasive maneuvers, and then the other guy does an action. It's no, you do your full turn, so you do your action and your maneuver. And it's also the added complexity of the maneuvers of the ship and the maneuvers of the player of the PC, right? So the ship can only do, I think, 2 maneuvers, and that's a hard limit on that.
Okay.
So there we go.
We're back to player character slot number 2.
Yeah, we do have this vision though of the ship rolling because of the failures being represented on the red die of the creature doing a really good job with his tongue, but like just this rolling around at the entire time. So Damien is probably almost throwing up in the inside of the cockpit as the ship is spinning around in a way that would make Darth Vader jealous.
Yeah, and the droid being a droid is like, oh yeah,
whatever,
no problem. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the creature spies a ledge up ahead, one leap away, that will be an ideal position for it to once again attempt an assault.
This is the whaling ship, right? That we took
it was once a whaling ship on the world of Scintilla, and there's perhaps a good deal of equipment inside that continues to be devoted to that purpose. Outside, the droids on the coral reef gave the exterior something of a spring cleaning and made it a bit Spartan.
But my point is there a harpoon gun that I can fire? What's the weaponry on this craft, if any?
So there's a single twin link laser turret, which we discovered, and then there are a number of sponson mounted spots for harpoon guns, for like small arms harpoon guns to kind of be kind of opened up in the side. You know, like there's like sort of arrow slits per se, and then there's a gantry on the bottom that whalers can also use to kind of spot and take shots. Not unlike the crashed with the gantry from Solo, from the train heist sequence.
So I try not to move around too much because the ship is jostling all over the place. So I move to the laser turret and strap myself in, and until 1V, I'll try and I'll try and distract it. So
distract it, kill it.
I'm trying. So I take 2 strain to take an extra maneuver and see if I can aim the cannon and get myself a boost die here.
Absolutely.
And yep. And you know, I see the ledge. I see the ledge that the beast is looking at. So I'm going to seize the opportunity of knowing where it is headed, and I'm going to flip a destiny to upgrade my check. So I'm getting a boost die for the aiming. My difficulty is 2.
It might be lower because of the natural range of the.
Yeah, I was telling Ivan. I think that the spaceship combat is just a silhouette because they assume that the weapons can go so far.
Yeah. And in any case, the laser cannon that we're looking at right here is close range. It's limited to close range anyway.
Yeah, as long as you're in close range, then you can fire. Is the point? So we are in close, right?
Yeah. So it would just be the base difficulty anyway. Yeah.
Okay. So are you going to flip point to?
No, I mean the creature's never seen a laser cannon. Has no idea what that is.
Oh, excellent. All right, let's see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. Oh, yes. What's the damage on our laser cannon?
It is 6 normally, and then and it is linked 1.
And then it is.
You know, it has a linked 1 quality, so you can spend double advantage to.
To trigger the. Trigger the second hit. Is that how that goes? I believe.
Yes.
So that would do 8 damage. Yeah. So that would be 8 damage, and yeah, let's use that advantage to trigger the link quality of the weapon.
So I see. I'm looking at so I see in the pool. I see 1 success. And so the base damage of a laser cannon is 6, so then it would go up to 7, right?
That's weird. I see 2. 2 on 4 advantage. You may be looking at the wrong.
Let me refresh. Oh, yep. There
you gotta
it is.
refresh it.
Yep, 2 and 4 advantage. So, with that in mind, yeah, that's 8, and then it goes up to 14, if I understand correctly. When you add the second. When you add the linked quality in.
I think.
Could be wrong. Let's just gear and equipment. Weapon characteristics.
Yeah, I'm fuzzy on the weapons. So you know what we need to do? We need to, because I don't even have the ship graphic in front of me. That's why I was looking at the phone, trying to remember the.
I will make a better HUD.
Linked 170. You need to mail it to us so we can have a copy of it. Maybe for easy reference. Okay, here we go. 170 linked. It increases the possibility of the hit. Firing a linked weapon, a successful attack, it deals 1 hit. And then you spend 2 advantages to gain an additional hit. And may do a number of times equal to the weapon's linked rating.
Right.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's link 1, so I can do it once. All right. So additional hits from the link weapon being used may only be applied against the original target.
Yep.
Each hit deals the weapon's base damage plus the total uncancelled score. Yeah, so it's double damage basically.
Oh, so it literally goes from 8 to 16 though. It doesn't go from 8 to 14. Like adds the base damage. It doubles the base damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I understand.
That's pretty radical. That's pretty radical right there.
Yeah, okay. It's because it's like they're treated like separate hits. So you boom and boom, So, yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. And I still have 2 advantage left over, and I'm gonna recover that strain that I just spent. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna use that 2 leftover advantage to make it more difficult for it to jump to the ledge, right? So I'm shooting at it and strafing ahead toward the ledge to discourage it from jumping. So it gains a setback die to the target's next action.
Okay. So we're back to 1v4N and the start of a new round. So the available maneuvers for the shuttle refresh as well.
Oh, you know what? That was my bad. I should have added the setback die. I should have upgraded the difficulty for 1V's piloting. Forgot to do that for the evasive maneuvers. Well, we'll let it slide, but now we know for the next time we got to be...
Oh, yes. And actually, yeah. Suffice it to say that was significantly easier than it needed to be, or than it was appropriate to be, because the adversary trait is also in play for this creature.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so it would have been 2 reds. Yeah.
So suffice it to say.
Oh, well.
Well, our red dice are perfectly capable of rolling 1 threat.
That's right. Live and learn. We'll pick it up later. Yeah.
Okay, so back in the pilot seat, you hear the creature groaning, and you also hear the report of the blaster cannons, or the laser cannons, as they discharge, and those vibrations kind of come through the hull and onto the flight yoke.
Okay. Well, is that exciting or bad? What are you conveying with this?
It is what it is to you. I'm giving you some sensory input that for the character that that's an interesting point, actually. That at this point, at the start of this round, I believe that it is appropriate for it to have a discipline check for both of our characters here, because this is combat. We went from the sudden oh goodness, what's happening, and kind of reflexive reactions in the first round, and now we're in a situation where the danger starts to come home for the characters, and with that in mind, yeah, we should do a discipline roll, a fear type thing.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic! All right. Let's engage some more mechanics here. Reset.
What is the difficulty for this?
And that's what I need to figure out. But I believe it is going to be. It's just average, actually, and then it's upgraded twice, basically because the creature is especially scary, and then it's also rare. This seems sort of rare. This seems unusual to have a frog spider chasing after your shuttlecraft in a canyon.
Yeah, especially when it's the size of a building, It's
I would say, so what color dice are we adding to this then? Is that
2 reds? I understand.
Difficulty is double red.
That's
oh
great.
boy,
that's awesome. Well,
and I'm going to push that a bit, and I'm gonna flip one of these specifically for 1v4 ends test, because this is it's a large organic creature. It just seems to have a lot of animal.
So that's
lust.
so it's gonna be another purple die. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it'll be red, purple.
That's
oh
awesome.
my
That's
god.
awesome. And versus 2 greens. What could go wrong?
All right, let's roll. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Did mine go through?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Okay, I'm not seeing. Hold on, I only
Okay,
saw.
good. Yeah, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
No,
It's
no. Hey, failure is failure. This is more times you don't need anything. Failure is failure.
Failure is in fact failure, and I think the rest.
So
is
listen. Here we go. Now, seeing as I've been taking my time, it's been really tough.
Oh,
for me
wait.
to get.
Yeah, but wait a second, because I guess I'm going to take an action then when my turn comes.
Okay, but seeing as I've been it's been so difficult for me to read anything lately with my time, and I've been reading something else, so I hadn't been doing my due diligence and really reading the 572 pages of this book or whatever it is, So I can't remember what the hell feeling of discipline roll means.
It's just black die. It's just black die.
Just black. Oh, just black die. Okay, I haven't gone completely mad. That's good. Yeah. Go away. Foul beasties.
You start to shake the ship, right? Because you're like,
it's just a big loogie of frog mucus, which is draining across the cockpit window, which it's yicky.
Well, I know exactly what I'm going to do with my action.
Okay.
Is it my action here? Is my turn yet?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to take the slot, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. At this point, if I'm really getting that flipped out,
okay.
1v4 Ed is going to panic a little bit, because at this point, and so even though it's really probably very dumb if you start to think about what might happen, I'm going to shoot the harpoons at it.
Oh, cool.
Because manually from the controls, I had to be able to shoot the harpoons while I'm flying this thing. So I'm just going.
Okay.
The only gun that I have at my disposal, seeing is obviously the laser cannon is manned by a turret.
Mm-hmm.
These, on the other hand, are pilot controlled. But so I'm just going to shoot the only weapon I have available at it.
Okay. So it is it's purple. But then upgraded.
I can still try to do evasive maneuvers, so that's an action and maneuver. Is that the idea? I can do both.
Evasive maneuvers is and you can do it in that order. So you can shoot, and then, and that'll allow you to not have your difficulty upgraded from the maneuvers.
Okay.
So,
so you were saying what was it?
So the creature is an adversary. And so it has the free upgrade. So it's purple, red, and then you have the black from the dread or fear.
Okay. So purple, red, black. So my gunnery is actually 2 greens and a yellow. So purple, red, black. All right, yeah, really fine. Yeah, I'm not going to spend the pool yet. No, yes, I will.
Okay,
go for it. Yeah,
I'm going to spend a point to change one of these greens to a yellow.
Somewhere on the far side of the galaxy, a droid programmer put some gunnery routines into this neural core, and this neural core also happened to be somewhat panicky, but.
Right. Exactly. Trust my feelings. Oh dear. Oh. A success with a despair.
Oh.
And God, I know what I would make a despair if I was a confessor right now, but I don't want to lead the witness, Your Honor.
So,
oh dear. Yeah.
right. So first of all, the harpoon is damaging enough to send the creature into a groaning fit, and it loses its grip just as it was bracing to leap to the next column.
Oh dear.
And it plummets. It plummets into the canyon, and
I can hear the winch right now as the cable.
Just as the harpoon hits, and
that's the real sings. You know, once we got one. Oh, anyway, go. I don't want to interrupt the narration.
So the no, it's fine. I mean, so first of all, so the winch and the cable groans, and the actual flight path of the ship jeer, like the repulsors, just suddenly kind of waver.
It is a despair.
It is a despair. It doesn't waver. It's like it's like
Go on. Yeah,
go for it. Go for it.
So
this is valid.
We're gonna do the minor collision, as the ship is yanked downward and hits the same ledge that the creature was seeking to avoid. So minor collision. Remind me what that is. I believe it's just there's a piloting check involved with that. Is that right?
It's minor collision is a check on the critical hit table, I believe.
Very good.
Correct.
Very good.
Let's look at it real quick. Yeah, because major collision is really bad, but it might be on the systems check. Let me on the systems table. Collisions, page 256. Minor collision. All vehicles suffer a single critical hit. Right. Subtract. Yeah, that's it. Subtract 10 times. Subtract the number 10 if we have shields. Do we have shields on our ship?
Yes.
All right, so subtract 10. So roll percentile and subtract 10. Ivan, you do the honors, because
okay, yeah, so it's my fault. Yeah, so okay, yeah. Yeah, let's roll 1% all dice here. Come on,
and that's one thing that we have been neglecting as well.
85. I think high is bad.
It is bad. No, but we subtract 10.
75.
We subtract 10 because the shields absorb a portion of the
death.
And we experience power fluctuations.
Oh yeah, great! That blue crackle is everywhere.
Exactly. Okay, you cannot voluntarily inflict system strain on the ship to get an extra starship maneuver until this critical hit is repaired. So only one ship maneuver per turn.
Okay. So that was the results of your attack. You still have some maneuvers that you can do.
Well, we're attached to the creature now, aren't we?
Yep. And it's groaning. The winch is groaning away.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see. Maneuvers. Wow. I'm looking here for some good maneuvers to do in a case like that, because it seems like evasive maneuvers is kind of dumb at this exact moment.
It would probably be a maneuver to release the cable.
But will it work with the power fluctuations? That's the question.
Well, will it work if I flip a destiny to make it not? To make it stuck.
No, there you go. I would, but let me just see if there's anything else that I really want to do here. I'm looking for the right.
I think it's the basic fly maneuver, which is just move the ship out of range, right, to widen the range or something. But First, you have to release the cable. Yeah.
I'm gonna call my maneuver trying to get this cable released. So yeah, I think I don't know that's a specific maneuver, but it seems like that would be
maybe a piloting check or.
No, I mean it's. I think you look panicked. You look around the cockpit at all the various little lights, white lights, red lights, purple.
Which
lights,
one does it?
The big red lights that are this shape. And eventually you find a lever, which is positioned on the steering column, to release the cable, and
I get it.
And it whirs out.
I don't know. Well, no, yeah. If you make a check, then it's an action. Not really. I was just thinking maybe it's a cool check to keep his head together and find a release. The release. Where is the release? Or something. But hey, it's cool. Hey, if we're not gonna die, it's probably cool.
I think. Well, so here's. I think you're right that it's much more appropriate for a Destiny flip to be the cool check, to force the cool check.
True.
Like rather than say like it doesn't work, you're being dragged into there. Like I think that like the proportionality probably suggests that. Yeah, and I think that given the discipline, I do think that fits.
And he still has the setback from being panicked, right?
Yeah. So let's call it average double purple.
Okay.
And a black because you're already rattled from the fear effect from the thing.
And let's see, what is 1v4N's cool? I don't think it's all that great.
I'm gonna walk it back to a single purpose, to like the basic difficulty should. Yeah, it should be simple. It should be simple.
Should be simple. Okay. Well, let's see.
It goes off of presence if you don't have.
No. I know exactly what it is. I've got one green die.
Oh boy.
So one green die. So we're gonna go. So we're gonna go a single purple and a black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The green. Okay.
You can flip the Destiny pool.
Nah, there's not enough time. Oh dear.
Oh boy. There we go.
Okay. So I think that so I think we're pretty much out of combat, and the question is now kind of plowing into a herd of semi-truck sized caterpillars, or kind of finding a way to wrench the ship back up. Given the power fluctuation, however, trying to wrench the cable free is going to be natural. It's going to be harder because there's no way to put your back into it.
So I want.
Yeah, Davian, go ahead. Yeah, we're not really in combat, but I think you definitely have a window here where things have changed and you can act.
So I'm 1V. Keep it together. You're a pilot. Just find a release and get us back level. You can do this. I've seen you pull us out of worse conditions than this, and I'm trying to rally him with my leadership skill.
Yeah.
What I don't know is what the difficulty is.
I mean, I'm given to think that it probably is just baseline average, like unless you're being opposed by a force. Like if there's somebody else's machinations are playing into it, you know what I mean? But I think so. Let's see here. General skills.
Leadership is page 123. And it is specifically calls out that you can use it to rally the subject from fear. Mm-hmm. It's based on the complexity of the orders.
Yep.
Based on the intelligence and professionalism of the
Single
subjects.
purple. I think single purple is about...
Single purple.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. All right. Let's try that and make it good. Okay. So I am going to flip a destiny point here because this is a very dramatic moment, and we got to pull you out of this. Get you back on track and get us out of here before we crash into the herd. So I'm going to upgrade that by 1 with the destiny die, and we said 1 purple. Here we go. Yes. So with that success, that takes away your black die to your action. I'm going to take those 2 advantages and give you a boost die.
Yeah.
To your action. So there we go.
Okay. So the black is removed, and so I think that I think the ship is going 3, and it's one of those piloting danger situations where the difficulty is dictated by the silhouette of the ship and the speed of the vehicle, and that's basically, that's how that works out.
Yeah, it's half silhouette compared to the speed.
Yep.
Yeah, so speed is 3 and the silhouette was 4, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So okay, so then it's 1 green and I'm sorry.
It's two red and 1 purple, yeah.
Exactly. 2 red and 1 purple. Then the handling of the ship is -1. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the handling is going to actually be a black die. We need to remember to
correct. Correct.
Except I'm a skilled jockey.
Ah.
Yes.
Talents, baby.
Yes.
All right.
And the blue from my
yeah, and we're calling this piloting space because it's spaceship. Or okay, good. That's good because that's where I put all my money.
Yeah, okay, good because we don't want to crash. So,
yeah. So this attempt is really not to untether us, but just to not crash. Is that the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so untethering will be another thing entirely. So okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the die roll will tell us, like you may be able to yank it clean.
I'm afraid to do this, but okay, here we go.
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
Well, and it was very difficult, but thanks a lot for the encouragement. But it's a single advantage. It's not a success, but it is kind of a failure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What was that like? Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we detached the cable, but you didn't manage to level off before we crash into the thing. Let's look at.
So I'm gonna go with another minor collision. And so it's going to be a second critical hit. So it'll be +10. Like it does get worse when you get
well,
more.
Shall I roll again?
So yeah, roll it, but now it washes out. There's no because it's subtract 10, but add 10. So
yeah, can we spend this one advantage to have the cable not be attached anymore?
Oh yeah,
like because it broke as a result of everything. Bad 93. That's bad.
Oh, major collision is
minor.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know. Tell me what a major is, and not me. Before
that's what I'm trying to figure out. In case of a major collision, all vehicles involved suffer a single critical hit as well. However, only subtract the ship's defense multiplied by 5 from the roll. So instead of subtracting 10, you would subtract 5.
That's it? That's the only difference?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, call it a major then. Yep.
Sure. And so, okay, so now we add 5 to whatever. Roll it.
Oh, I did. 93.
Oh my. So it's 98. That turns into a 98. What the hell is a 98? Oh my God.
Are we walking home?
Our engines are damaged. If the ship's vehicle maximum speed is the ship or vehicle's maximum speed is reduced by 1 point to a minimum of 1 until the critical hit is repaired. Now, I guess that's not too bad. It's not too bad. We
okay.
Boom.
So the cable detaches by yanking one of the legs out of the spider. And as the tension releases, the chitinous plates of the spider's leg crash into the engine nozzles of one of the outputs, and that particular engine has to just goes through an automatic check and shuts itself off, lest it overheat. So I think I'm gonna let you guys banter. I need to I need to use the restroom, and when we come back, we will be on the landing pad at the South Polar Settlement.
Excellent.
Right, yeah. I think I'm going to decide not to fly so close to the planet's surface and try to get a higher altitude this time. And the sightseeing is over.
Like they say, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing, and I suppose Max Bill will have his work cut out for him when we get back to him. He's going to need to repair the ship for us.
He's going to be really pissed off is what he's going to be. I have to say, random encounters, boy, those are the best.
Yeah. And failure. Failure is great. Failure can be great. This was because otherwise we would have shot the frog and just kept going, and it's like, we shot the frog, and it's like we almost died, which was pretty cool. And I think that's part of the beauty of the system. It's not super deadly. So we roll a 98 on the crit thing, which should be pretty scary. But it's just like the personal crits. Personal crits can only kill you after the 5th crit. Right. Because then it's when 150 plus on the die becomes even possible. Right. And even, the 5th crit just opens the door to the possibility of you dying, but it doesn't necessarily kill you. You still have to roll very high. So you'll be disabled, but you won't be dead, which suits the genre, right?
Right. No, but that's pretty cool too. Is that I was thinking though, when I failed the cool roll, it's like, well, what would he do? And I'm thinking, well, the only weapons on the ship, I've been looking at the Starship actions are that laser cannon and then and then shoot. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what would he do? Well, he'd shoot the harpoons. I'm thinking, well, that's stupid, but that's what he would do because he'd be panicked. And then rolling that failure, I'm like, rolling the despair. I'm like, well, I don't want to roll despair when it shows up. I'm still like, there's part of me that's like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
this is as bad as it possibly gets. It's like, don't do that. That's stupid because,
wait.
That's this 18-ton dying creature as it's plummeting earthward. I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool.
You can see Davian going, wait, don't shoot the harpoon.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, well, that felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely.
So this crippled ship, trailing like some black smoke, lands on the South Pole landing pad.
And so it does. It flickers, and so the South Pole settlement is it's actually its vintage is more recent. and that's because it's one of the Tabana gas settlements. So it originates during the Tabana gas rush that started maybe 80 years ago, and so the polar ice cap, owing to some of the heady days of Gorham's beginning, when it was it was midway through deciding if it was going to be a gas giant or a mini Earth. You know, these planets like this have a big giant ballooning atmosphere of helium and hydrogen that eventually goes elsewhere. And in those days, this world was big enough that it did have some Beldons that were swimming about in the atmosphere, and the leavings of Beldons billions of years later is Tabana gas. And so it is that this place is a little bit more recent, and so it's the deposit is mostly played out, and so it's a bit of a ghost town. There's a single arcology that maybe once hosted about 10,000 people, and then a complex of kind of various resource building, generation buildings and quartermastering and stuff, like one of those towns in Alaska where everybody lives in the same place. So yeah, pick a parking space. It's a giant parking lot. There's lots of parking.
So it's got like those rounded protrusions, right? Like the landing pads are all over the arcology.
Dozens of them.
Yeah.
And you like, there's like 2 cars. It's an abandoned mall.
Right, and so the ship is coming in, and it's sounding remarkably like my Jeep. They're trailing the smoke and like just obvious bent parts on it and everything, just clunking down. And we land, and one before and just looks over David and goes, "What?
We made it. Good job, 1V. We made it. Let me get a jacket or something." And Davian grabs a huge parka with the hood and some goggles. Why not? It's like just to exit the craft and go inside the buildings.
I'm not staying here by myself.
Oh no, you're not.
I'm following you dutifully.
Yeah, try not to shoot anybody this time. And if you have to, absolutely have to, try to do it on stun. Unless they're Imperials. These guys, these shepherds, they're pacifists. We shouldn't encounter any hostilities. The trick is going to be to find Adrian, my son, among them.
So, moving to the gantry, and then to the doorway, to get you into the arcology proper. The door is quite shut for this particular landing pad, and the welcome screen is in low power mode.
So I'll tap it and see if it flashes back on or.
No. Yeah.
1V, can you take a look at this?
Sure, I can try. See if I can turn it back on or reroute power.
And while he does that, I'm knocking on the thing. Tick, tick, tick. Hello, like C-3PO or something. Tick, tick, tick. Is there anybody in there?
Okay. So we see bundled in furs from a distant vantage on a ridge line. So someone is watching, holding a spear, as you guys are banging away at the door. It will be a computer's roll I think
Goody.
I think simple is probably about right.
Well, it's a good thing I spent some of my precious XP on computers, seeing as I had no skill.
Yes.
All right.
Excellent.
So simple's one die. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Scuddy. All right, so let's see what I get.
I'm gonna call the cold one setback die.
Okay.
And go ahead and go about your business. I'm gonna mute for a second here.
Yeah, these screens are pretty good. They have
I
lot
guess
of, like the tables and the stuff printed out, and it's good thick cardboard. So
right. Yeah, I should have added that setback die by itself. So I'm going to go with, if he lets me, I'm going to go with my 3 advantage and a failure.
Oh, man, you're on a roll tonight.
I know, man. I'm prepared. Hey, listen, but this is cool because next time I play all for one, I'll have all my failures just all.
Exactly. It's canceled out. Yeah. I need. Yeah, it reminds me. I hopefully will play that AFO solo session on Sunday.
Right on.
I gotta email him about it. Yeah.
Be prepared. He's brutal. But yes, it's failure. Failure with 3 advantage. What can I get for 3 advantage on a computer's roll? Seeing as I actually scored nothing, didn't open the door.
What can we think about? Like, there's no power. Maybe you can coax. I don't know if that helps us at all. Maybe coax some power into the thing, or maybe close. I don't know if these landing pads have like protective domes or something to conserve some heat or something. I don't know. Some of these things are, use whatever feels interesting, because the other thing we could do is set each other up for the next roll, but I don't even know how we come back from the computer's roll not working. So I guess we go to mechanics or something. Yeah,
well, that would be my second shot, is attempting at that manner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not working. That's bad. Which is like everything's working for me this evening.
Well, you could always say, the computer's is not working, but maybe there's like a little power surge or something, and you see some sparks coming up from one of the panels. So that gives you a clue of where the problem is, and then we can translate that into a boost die for our mechanics check. Right?
There you go. That works.
Yeah. I love this game. Because you see it's like, okay, how can I make this into a cool thing rather than just a little blue die?
Right. That should help. So now your son, last we knew, your son is just here with the shepherds, right? Or we think he is.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking, and he's one of the 4 sensitives. So,
oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, but if we find a bunch of people, it should be relatively easy to identify, seeing as he's human, and the shepherds are mostly Ithorians, from what I understood. Although maybe they.
The Ithorians, which ones are those? What do they look like?
The hammerheads. We used to call them hammerheads way back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with the mouths over here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I had a hammer. I wish I still had my old Star Wars figures.
The original one.
Oh, the original one. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I had a bunch. But the lightsabers that came out of their arms, I remember that.
Yeah. And Luke's was yellow. I learned recently that it was yellow because there was a mix-up or something at the company, that they meant it to be blue, but it came out yellow. So that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a failure on the computer's roll with a few advantages. So we were hoping to maybe use it as advantages to at least figure out where the problem was.
Yeah, maybe there's like a little power surge, and there's some sparks, and that gives us a clue which panel we need to break open to.
Okay.
Tinker with it.
Yeah, so it's gonna take skullduggery. The whole place has been kind of put into a low power sleep mode. Like the system Arcology Central Command has placed the settlement into a safe mode. Remote access is disabled. Please contact the system administrator.
No, that's ridiculous.
Questions.
Just whack it. Well, I was hoping that would work. That didn't work
I mean, the whack is a perfectly fine skullduggery check. It is average.
So average is 2, right?
Oh, yeah. That's great. Okay.
I believe that the singular whack as an attempt to get the door open might be worthy of a boost die.
All right.
For effect.
Yeah, yes. Poetics, yeah.
Just an advantage. God. Just one advantage.
Okay. So the clangor of your mechanical fist echoes against the door and around. Yeah, but the advantage is yours to narrate.
Oh, the event, it becomes very clear to me as I see this and I see the little light go on and dim. I was like, this one's broken. That's the knowledge I gained.
Okay.
Well, give me a hand here. Maybe we can, I don't know, open up the lock mechanism on the door directly. Maybe see if we can break into that. What do you think?
I don't suppose you want to ask the guy with the spear.
But he's far away, right? He's a little bit. Well,
yeah. I was doing a little bit of the third person camera, but I definitely think that you guys the advantages that you guys got, you become aware that someone is watching in the distance also.
Let's look in the ship's cargo hold. There must be a set of tools.
Well, I have one.
We can. Oh, wait!
What? You're running inside, don't you?
Yeah. That's one way to go about it.
We'll give another suggestion.
There's got to be some tools. Maybe we can just open it and not have to destroy it. If the tools don't work, then we'll come back and just blow it apart.
All right, fine. Have it your way. Walk it back. Go get some tools. Get them back dutifully in the box.
So, we're.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, I'll give you a retry. Basically, with a boost die for the tools. And
I'm doing mechanics this time.
Okay. And I'm going to help, and I'm going to assist as well. So it's another pair of hands. I don't have the skill, so I can just give you another blue, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm going to say it is dark. And so this particular type of work, if the skullduggery is just shoving the little mechanical probe into the interface port, and computers was just trying to tap away at the information screen. In this case, you're going inside the panel. Right. We saw Han Solo do all 3 of those one time.
Right. So what's their difficulty this time?
That's still average. Yeah.
Still 2. So okay. So my skill plus 2 boost die plus the difficulty plus a dark one of the black dice.
Yes.
All right. Sure. Okay. I'm taking the panel off. Getting into the guts of this thing. Here, just asking for wrenches. I suppose that's the insistence. Yeah. Clamp. Yeah.
Hydrospanner.
Yeah. Tricorder. Medical tricorder. Oh, sorry. Wrong John.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yes.
4
and
successes. And 3 threat. Son of a bitch.
Well, that was all you. You know, we didn't. My assistants meant nothing, and the tools meant nothing. It was pure mechanical genius.
And threat up the yin yang. All right, awesome.
Okay. I just screwed.
Oh, I think I have it here.
Screwed the pooch here. My goodness. The threat I'm going to throw at you entirely as strained from the cold, and particularly because it turns out that the locking mechanism is just coated in a rime of ice, and the doors were actually cemented together from long iciness. Oh my goodness.
So do we split the threat, or does 1v take all of it?
Well, I mean, did your assist die roll any threat? No. 1D. 1v is the person who
is the recipient. So take 3 stress, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just trying
to fix.
Oh, you know what we didn't do? His duty was triggered. We get extra 2 wounds. Is that what we get when the duty was triggered in the beginning of the?
He gets 2 and you get 1.
Oh, okay. Hey, 1 is 1. But that's wounds. It doesn't really matter because this is strain.
Okay. So the one thing that I will say is that in the long period of going over wrenching and pulling on the stuff, you notice that the archaeology is set aside as an imperial property for billeting of troops. That the Empire bought it out from its previous owners. There are a few. The planetary government owns a few places, particularly the clinic that your son was recorded at. In the upper levels, but the general habitation floors of the archaeology are entirely given over to a reserve military basing for military personnel.
This doesn't seem to be simply a shepherd outpost, and it's not a mining outpost either anymore. This is a garrison.
Right. You're right, and that makes things even worse. This means that when the Imperials come in, this will be one of their first targets. Not only will they have the shepherds right here, but it's also a good operating base. So
only if it's still here.
That is an interesting idea, but we got to make sure we get everyone out safe.
What do you mean, we?
Oh, come on, we can't just blow these people apart. We're trying to help people against the rebellion, not kill them.
Okay, have it your way.
You do imagine that there's a charitable free clinic on some level up there that takes care of frostbitten, dinosaur wounded
natives.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
So the door opens and there's a flickering corridor lights and a little Imperial mouse droid, one of those little trapezoidal creatures, is skittering down the hallway as you kind of peer inside. And
go away.
There's crates of Clone Wars era kind of military gear strewn about in the corridors, and you're definitely on you're on a kind of a barracksy floor. The mining personnel here were probably in bunk rooms as well, whenever this place was being used in its original capacity. And it's a ghost town.
Well, this is strange. Well, I suppose we could take these crates once we're done here. Might come in handy to resupply the Coral Sea. But let's see. There's no. I would have expected this place. Is there power in here?
Oh yeah, I mean it's
Oh, okay,
it's
okay.
kind of in a,
yeah, so it's not dead. It's not like the power went out or something.
No, it's like the fire lights are on.
It's in sleep mode. I'm walking in, but I don't know where we're going to find your son here.
I don't know either. He's supposed to be at a clinic. Let's check. Let's look for a turbo lift. Maybe there's a computer terminal that can give us a better fix on our position.
So, like spokes on a wheel, there are corridors that radiate outward from the central atrium, which also has the primary lifts. And so, eventually, you come to you come to the central atrium where there's sort of a little bit of artificial sunlight. It feels and it looks and seems more artificial than it should in a nice cozy arcology should be. You know what it should look like, and then the color is off, and the plants are all overgrown in the atrium, and there's sort of a hint that there may be a good deal of creatures that may be living in the atrium as well. And there is a single lift which is functional, and it is because it has a graffiti, or it's nicer than graffiti. Somebody stenciled, "Use this one." Please use this one in the classic Minnesotan, obsequious. If you've seen how people from Minnesota leave notes like, "Could you please put your trash in the bin? If it's not too much trouble, it would be nice if everyone could put their trash in the bins." Okay, and then people will type notes in this Minnesotan dialect, which is kind of a friendly obsequiousness. And that's the feeling that you get to this piece of graffiti is save your trouble. Save your trouble. This is the elevator, and there's even a directory of sorts that seems pretty current. Once you summon the cab and the turbo lift, there's a directory, and then someone has actually there's a candy dish on a little shelf with some various morsels. Which seem fewer than 5 years old, sitting on the platter.
It's very formal, and at just the realization there may be creatures, flittering about this atrium. I've got my weapon back out. It's my last encounter with any kind of creatures was not good. You go first.
Okay. Take it easy, 1B. I think. Oh, look here. This looks better. Leveled A23. That's probably where the clinics are. Let's go.
So the turbo lift whirs into activity and is quickly racing at a comfortable pace, and as it does so, it speeds past a young shepherd who is waiting in a blind with a crossbow, and you see he shoots some sort of Minot creature that has been nesting in the overgrown atrium plants, and you see as you get a little bit higher level, someone has given over some of the wall space to vertical farming, and there's a banana tree which is growing, and so on. And it gets, it's definitely gone lawless, but people are not not making good use of the place. And so the turbolift car comes to rest, and there's some uncomfortably serene music playing, which seems to be of a Mandalorian color to it on the clinic level. And the door opens, and there's a receptionist who is, of course, a droid, as usual, and it is the same model as the droid that you killed in the basement. Welcome to the South Polar Free Clinic, a service of the Five Sisters government for all who are able to take advantage of it. How can I assist you, sir?
Thank you. I am looking for one of the shepherds, a human male by the name of Adrian Sewer. Is he available?
I'm checking my records. One moment. Adrian Sewer was last here 21 days ago, visiting an injured friend of his. He made use of the canteen on level 26. He remained for 2 days.
So he's gone.
I'm afraid his. Are you here to visit his injured companion? I'm afraid he is still recuperating, and is currently undergoing occupational therapy with his replacement limb.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I would like very much to visit this injured friend if possible. I am Adrian Sewer's father, Davian Sewer.
Very good. Azarus is currently in the primary, the level A6 promenade, I believe, being assisted by the therapist droid there. You may be able to find him.
Yes. Upper limb or leg? Which appendage?
I'm afraid that Azarus required both knees and both legs to be replaced below the knee.
Oh, I see. And what species is this person?
Was human, like most of the most of the shepherds that frequent this area.
Thank you. And you said his name was Azarus?
That is correct.
Thank you. You've been most helpful. Did Adrian leave any forwarding addresses or means of contacting him here in the database, at your database?
It is my understanding that the shepherds do not have their own postal codes of sorts. So I do not know what occurred after he departed, unfortunately.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you. You've been most helpful.
Thank you, Davian, sir.
All right, 1V. Let's go find this friend of my son's. Maybe they can tell us where he went.
Absolutely. He should be able to shed some more light on the subject. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've always liked your model.
And so with that, we're going to do a cool versus deception roll with regards to this droid.
Okay, so do we all roll it?
I think that maybe 1v4N is actually
his best suited?
I think he's the one. Yeah, I think he's the one. He's best suited to this. Yeah.
Am I rolling cool?
If you have another way of reading reading the droid's truthfulness, I'm
maybe
receptive.
Perception.
Well, yeah, it could be perception. Well, I mean, it's up to the game master.
Oh, there's a perception. Perception is a skill in this game.
Yes, sir.
We've never rolled it.
We're never perceived.
Let's see. I'll tell you what. My cool is 1 green. Perception is a yellow and a green. I'd rather do perception.
Okay, let me read these social skills matrix.
Oh yeah. You tell me.
Well, there we go. So deception is normally opposed by discipline.
Discipline. Okay. All right. Okay. It's discipline. So okay. Right on. Then, so what do we call on this? What is their deception?
I think that it's just.
Oh! I removed a destiny by
I think it's 2, but then he gets a free one because he's so good at protocol.
Right. What are we supposed to do?
He's got great protocol.
We're supposed to be 1 black and one white, right? Destiny, right now. I removed a destiny by accident.
Okay.
I believe. So it's going to be 3. Difficulty of 3.
No, it's 2. Sorry,
4.
His presence.
2.
Presence is 2, but then he gets a free blue.
I gotcha. Or then a black in this case.
Yeah. You got me.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Alrighty. Then, yeah. All right. Yeah. See if I figure anything out. He's telling the truth.
Of course he is. He's a program. He's a receptionist.
Incredible.
Of course.
Yeah. Incredible failure.
Oh my god.
Okay, so where are you guys headed to?
Level A6 promenade, looking for Azarus.
Okay. You find him, and you find him, and he's just he's going for a walk. He's maybe put on a few pounds actually. He's still maybe learning to use his legs somewhat. The droid that is keeping him company is loquacious about how he could improve his gait, but he seems to be in another place because he's actually just busy reading a book. He's trying to put off the droid's verbal assault, and it's just seemingly enjoying the tropically adjusted climate. And so you find them. You're overlooking the two of them from a balcony, and it's pretty easy to spot them because this seems to be where everybody has chosen to live. They've taken over like all the sort of former boutiques and restaurants, and they've just made their homes in them because it's one of the nicer neighborhoods in the archaeology. But you find the boy with the shepherd tattoos, accompanied by a droid, pretty readily.
And with the prosthetic knees, so we know it's him. Oh, there he is. Let's go down there and talk to him. So I go over and I say, hello, Azarus?
Please, sir, the therapy is scheduled for another 40 minutes. The patient is not to be disturbed.
I'm sorry. Could I just have a quick word? I'm looking for my son, and there is a matter of some urgency. I'm Davian Sewer. My friend Adrian is friends with Azarus here.
It's just a quick charm. 1 purple with the droid.
1 purple with a droid. Okay, here we go.
But the droid, it walks up and interposes himself between the two of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of like still walking. I don't stop where he says that, but there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So you blow right past him.
Yeah.
And the droid is a little bit suspicious about that. And is a little bit taken aback. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I know Idrian. He's very interested in some parts of our teachings that not all of us are particularly keen on these days. And he did visit. I appreciated it. It's been pretty quiet. I do enjoy books. I'm finding that there are a lot of them around here, along with a lot of other stuff that people left behind. It's very interesting. There's a lot of stuff that civilized people accumulate. Yeah. I did you know that I've collected 1,000 toy cars since I got here?
Wow, that is quite a bit.
Yeah.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Why is this place so empty? I thought the shepherds would have facilitated this place, and it looks a little bit.
Oh, we don't go in for we don't go in for living in habitations like this. We prefer. I mean, we've been here for tens of thousands of years. We have very nice accommodations of our own that we have built that are much more comfortable and compatible with our ways.
I see.
Which isn't to say that Tokair, who doesn't speak much, I think you may have seen him in the atrium. He enjoys this as a hunting ground at the least.
That makes sense, and the temperature is certainly better than that of the outside. How big is the shepherd presence in this place? There's how many? A dozen people? 100?
We move from different lodges as the season takes us, and as our elders choose which lodges we might go to experience different sides of the Five Sisters. But this lodge is right now. I think there's perhaps 200 of us in the lodge. It is. That's about 10 clicks northeast from here.
Do you know where Adrian went? Did he go to this
I think he went back
enclave
to
of
the
yours?
lodge. I mean, he stole my girlfriend.
Oh, did he now? Huh.
Well, I mean, all's fair in love and war.
I suppose.
Suffice it to say, the hunt did not favor me. I'm really enjoying it here, though. I'm wondering, do I need to go to school if I want to participate in your world a little bit? I think I want to give it a try.
Yes, some of a lot of smart and educated people live in our world.
I wouldn't know if I'm either of those.
Well, that's a keen observation there, but let's say at least most of the people in my world are obsessed with technology. So perhaps reading is the right track to that.
Speaking of, at this point, with this medical droid being so probably fixated and irritated with the therapy being interrupted, I'm going to take this opportunity to try to disable it while its attention is not on me.
Okay.
To turn it off. I mean, because I'm thinking of that awful, I think it's Rogue One thing where the droid finally just jams the little
spike.
aftermech things, the spike right to the other one to get the information. But at this point, I'm just trying to turn it off.
Okay.
It's whatever I want to do next. I don't want to be interrupted by this droid because I'm just thinking this is the most ridiculous conversation that's going on in front of me. We're not getting anywhere. So yeah. So how are we going to do that?
There's some stuff about droids in a splat book, which we can read another time. Like I'm given to just try and figure out what we can do with the core book, and then go from there next time.
Yeah. It's getting kind of late, but is
this
this maybe some sort of hand-to-hand?
Yeah, I'm thinking it might just be a brawl, unless it's really technically oriented.
It's kind of technically oriented. I'm going to try to turn this thing off, or whatever.
Oh yeah. But you're trying to do it without the droid noticing you and stopping you, because they probably know that they get shut off if you press like the button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's some sort of skullduggery where you're trying to surreptitiously move up and bam, hit the button.
Yeah, hit the button or jam the little information thing right into their freaking noggin. Because my intention is to get information from this droid or from the computers around them, but I need him out of the way either way.
Okay. Yeah, I think skullduggery versus vigilance is probably.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's my initial thought.
That sounds.
And what's this droid's vigilance going to be?
It is just going to be. It's going to be a 2.
All right. I'm gonna flip the white destiny to just give myself more advantage on this thing. I really want to get this done. So that's 2 yellow versus 2 purple. God help me if I can. Please let me roll something good.
Yes.
Oh well.
And no. Yeah. Yes and no.
It's a failure with a triumph. And 2 advantages.
Oh my God.
Yeah, how do we narrate this?
Okay.
May's not off.
Yeah, so I'm given to think that you were able to flip the droid's mode switch. You put it into you flip it into a kind of a conditioning mode. What is it called? An auditing. It's just, it turns to you with a friendly face and says, "Hello, sir. I'm 64V61. I'm not familiar with you as an auditor. However, I am pleased to make your acquaintance." And it's very strange because the droid has a droid to human affect as it looks at you, 1V4N. And Azaris is just kind of wrapped, by the way. Like that is suddenly wrapped by the interaction between the 2 droids. How may I assist you? What about my programming would you like to alter?
I require a complete system diagnostic and access to the records of the station.
Well, records of the station, you can of course use my account to access the primary database. You of course are welcome to go to Central Station Command if you like. I believe that the commandant is present there. He typically always is.
That won't be necessary. I want to run a diagnostic using your credentials, and access system information. We need to see if they are up to snuff.
Very good. Why don't we use this terminal over here, sir? And
excellent.
Droid. And the droid puts its little its probe into the wall.
And I look back at Damien and just kind of do this, like, the droid version of it, like
nice.
And go back and do my best human imitation as we try to suck information out of here.
Nice.
So really, at this point, my intent is just to get a complete layout of the place, find like, you know, any kind of information about the entire place, you know, personnel, any kind of imperial schedule, like, you know, what the actual census is, where the shepherd, you know, if the shepherds, you know, or, you know, how many shepherds are there, that kind of thing. See who's really there. I'm looking for like collateral damage targets, and
okay. Well,
so
yeah. So,
and of course, the commandant himself is the idea that there's somebody.
So the commandant is in fact is one of the few certified reconditioned separatist droids, and so it's one of those portly commander droids from the separatist years, and you pull up his file and his mug, his cheeky mug. I'll save the image for another time, but he has a sinister look to him because he was designed that way. The interesting thing, though, is you do see that there's a singular imperial attaché that present in the complex that's responsible for the preserving the military capability of the billeting. There's a single person, and he's assigned 4 droids, and that's the imperial military allocation.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
Sounds triumphant. I nuke it from orbit till I want to make sure. So do we call it here and pick up next time and see how we blow this place up without hurting all the shit? Oh, what I meant was.
Yeah, it's a good time to stop.
Yeah, I think so. So here we go. I'm actually looking at page 71 of the fully operational the droid the engineer source book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Temporarily get a piece of technology working beyond its normal specifications. Comprehension of the technology becomes deep enough to rebuild it, increasing the number of hard points. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem out of order. Yeah, I think that, you know, the unexpectedly pleasant outcome is probably seems fine. You know, like he's still gonna remember having this conversation. You know.
No, he won't.
Yeah, I follow, but
we never know.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Okay. So, do we what do we want to talk about anything? While we're still on the air, since we're making a habit of that.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know. I think we handled the ship combat was interesting. We need to Remember let's double check the difficulties for combat. I'm pretty sure that the actual difficulty to hit is just a silhouette. It's just based off of silhouette. There's like range is only important in space combat if
yeah, I think you're right.
If to see if the weapon reaches, right? If you're outside of the range, there's no chance that you can hit. But if you're in range, then it goes by silhouette size. I believe that's one point. We need to study the vehicle combat rules, and I insist that's probably one of the most complex, if not the most complex portion of the rules.
So yeah, we missed the defense dice and then the handling. I mean, 1v4N has the skilled jockey, so like that went out the window. Like until he was also scared and had 2 setback dice, it was not an object. But that
correct.
Is,
the other thing is, which I tend to forget myself as part of vehicle combat, is the system strain. Because the vehicle, I believe, can only take 1 maneuver. Mm-hmm. And then if you're going to purchase a second maneuver, you need to buy it with system strain.
Yep.
So theoretically, we could have done things like, I may have missed that, just
after that first hit against the cliff face, then we were incapable of doing that at all.
Exactly, because
we were no longer, that wasn't an option anymore.
Correct. And that's a good thing. I like the collisions seem good. For some reason, I thought they were really, really deadly, and it's not that bad.
No, they seem to really be nice characterization of like scrape. Like, what was that?
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost the right stabilizer coupling.
Exactly. And that's a lot of fun rolling on that table. The failure was a great proof that failure is interesting in this game. And I think it was a great application with Ivan's idea of firing the harpoon and the despair. I think that was very, very interesting. I think that got us off to a very good start.
Tell me about
and we did have one of those
roles. I mean, we should finish this topic, but I do want to ask about that. Yeah.
I was done with that topic. I was going to talk about the door.
Okay, the door.
We did have that interesting thing where, like, once again we're presented with the famous door, and where we run through the gamut of, like, okay, I'm going to use this skill, I'm going to use that skill, I'm going to use this other skill because Ivan can't roll dice to save his life, and but we're at the point where, like, essentially we were going to run out of skills, like we were going to be stuck at that door because fictionally there was nothing else to go in except shoot it, and even then it probably wouldn't have been all that.
So yeah, and the interesting thing is that I was in a position where I was like, well, is there a resilience roll here because it's cold out?
Right.
And
sure.
I was sort of in a headspace where I thought, well, the dice are going to tell me. Like they move on to the next thing, and the dice are going to tell me. But it was sort of a catch-22 where I thought, well, maybe I should pile on black dice because they're getting colder and they're getting tilted.
Right.
They're getting more angry. And I thought,
which would have been fine too. Because at some point it's like, well, geez, do we really have to get to this door, or are we going to be like, oh, well, we can't get to the door, so.
Yeah. Well, we before we started recording, we were talking about other games and things that you learn from other games, and we mentioned Burning Wheel, and that's where I learned, say yes or roll dice, which is not from Luke, but is, right. But it's from, I think, Vincent Baker, and anyway, or somebody, I don't remember exactly who said it, but that's where I learned it. And the point is, if you can't think of interesting failure, maybe just don't roll the dice, right? So I'm not opposed. I think it worked out fine, and I like at least the process of, okay, so it wasn't by computers, it wasn't by skullduggery. We actually had to break the door apart. So sometimes that's just interesting detail, right?
It was.
But it's a good.
It was in some ways Untold Adventures with that damn door that we were trying to burn down or cut down or whatever. Which it's because
Jason hated that.
I know, but it's not us. It's like, I mean, that's a truism, or that's a constant thing that shows up in games sometimes is the door. This here once again, it wasn't just a metaphorical door; it's a freaking door. But you're running down the list of, okay, well, I have all these skills, and at least this game gives you some narrative difference. In other words, it's these different attempts aren't just like, oh, roll the dice again until you get through. It's like, okay, we'll try this. Try the computers. Try this. This is failing. That's
And my one critique is maybe that I wish that the hazard from strain / like actual frostbite might have been actually, like, if I didn't feel like I could be congruent with unless I threw on a bunch of black dice. I guess maybe I should have. But
maybe.
Yeah. And that's another interesting point. Okay, so the failure consequences, not only did you not open the door, but it's you got some strain. Yeah. So, in the moment, there might not be, it's like, who cares, skip the door. But in the long run, those 2 strain might cost you dearly.
And in the back of my mind, I thought if there was net failures, I would use those as but it was that classic nothing at all result.
All right.
Which, I mean, maybe that means not enough black dice, not enough blue dice. Like when you see
I think too, it's important in this game to remember, like multiple failures don't mean anything. Failure is just failure. If you have a bunch of threat, that's a different story. But you can pile on. You can have 4 failures. It doesn't. There's no. The book makes it pretty clear that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and extra successes.
Yeah, right. But a whole bunch of threat, that's a different story.
Yeah, and it's a good teaching point again that we look for tools, right, to give us a boost die. So that's a good, use of the rules. I think that was interesting.
Yeah, no, it wasn't hideous, but it was just like one of those things, like, well, how is this game handled? And then when you run out, because I think there's that certain narrative thing was like, well, the interesting thing is going to be inside this place. And if we get to the South Pole and go through all that rigmarole of almost dying because I'm stupid enough to shoot a 5,000-pound thing with a harpoon with no way to get it off, well, now we're here outside wondering, well, geez, we got to talk to the guy with the spear now. Who's probably going to run away from us, So
I was imagining climbing like an exterior stairwell to like knock on the
the
command center window.
Right.
That's not a bad idea. Or trying to call in, like radio the place to open up, and
Right.
There were some alternatives.
So I guess the thing is we rolled duty again. That's we rolled duty again, but we didn't quite edge our way into it. Partially because I started the session with creature feature.
Yeah. But that was fine.
Okay.
I would like to say before we forget that the setting is magnificent. I'm enjoying the Five Sisters to a ridiculous level. It's so vivid, just a description of the megafauna and the canyon and the polar and the ice and the thing. I had a very clear movie running through my brain as we open up the game. So I'm loving the setting and the archaeology thing. And as far as the setting goes, it's pure gold as far as I'm concerned.
It's reminding me of some sci-fi author, and I can't put my finger on it. There's some series I've read or a book I've read.
The only thing I would have added to make it even like that opening scene would have been like a couple of like natives like riding some of the megafauna or something. That would have been the only Star Wars thing that I could. That would have been like the extra mile on top of that. But it was good as it was. That's not a complaint.
I mean, some classic thing would have been like some proto-sapient creatures,
exactly.
like Jabba's
like Sin.
Cody.
Yeah, I would like sand people on a bantha or
Oh
something.
yeah, exactly.
You know, the equivalent of that. You know.
So social roles. Do we only have one? Do we only have one social role tonight, or?
Well, so I kept you said hi to the droid in the at the clinic reception, and then and then I put up another one in front of Davian when the medical droid said hi, and it maybe I don't know, it felt maybe a little repeaty, or I don't know, like I was thinking of them in the back of my mind as there's there is getting to be wanted posters. Like at some point there are going to be wanted posters for you guys.
And I thought about it because I gave him my name.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that was exactly. I was like, ooh.
It's like, yep, that's some moment that the planetary network is going to start flashing wanted posters with my ID on it. So, made sense to me at the time.
And I think the thing I mean, like, okay, so what's threat? Threat is suspicion, like maybe a little bit of strain. I should probably, like, threat would have been strain, like I'm getting worried that they're coming for us. And then despair would be that the actual, like, grudging, the NPC has a grudge and says, like, I'm going to call the cops on you and check who you are.
That's true. It would have been a good despair too on the check. It's like, oops, they recognize you. They already got the bulletins. The security's on its way, and you don't even know about it, right? So.
Well, yeah. Whether you know about it, that's an. I don't know. I'm experimenting with a little bit of the, like, third-person camera things.
That could work too.
Because, well, it's like, do you ever get the sensation that you're being watched? Like, they always say that, like the characters, like, know in Star Wars, like they kind of get the knowledge from somewhere.
They get a bad feeling about it.
They get a bad feeling about this. Okay, so anyway, I think we do need to get the duty role. Like, we need to get those duty roles pulled into the narrative, and I do need to get better at that.
Well, I was trying my best to blow stuff up, but he kept on saying that there's innocent people there.
I think when you reach for the droid, like, you definitely fulfilled it there.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just go ahead and let's say that, okay.
I'm trying.
Let's throw 1v4 in the 5 duty, because you really acted on it recklessly.
Nice.
In that, I think that's appropriate. Is we rolled it, you acted on it, and the roll said that, when you did roll that triumph, it should mean something pretty right. And, like, you got the name and address of, like, the guy that actually has, like, a little imperial rectangle on his outfit.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking with him too. Like, I mean, I was trying to pick, and I forget what I put for a motivation for him. It's just like, because he was imported as somebody that was a scoundrel. Like, and he came from that background. Seeing as he's kind of been imported from one game into another, that, like, his MO, or like what he's been taught is, okay, well, if there's something that's interfering with whatever your aims are, we'll blow it up, mess with it, screw with it. So sabotage is probably something he learned from the Hutts or whatever. So, like, of course, that's what he would gravitate towards, as opposed to, like, propaganda or anything. Like, he's got no charisma. He's not going to be a propaganda droid or information gatherer or something. It's like, oh, they've got stuff here, let's blow it up.
That's one of the.
Shoot him in the kneecap.
You are doing a really good job of role playing the stats of your character. Like, that's been enjoyable.
Yeah, it's just zero. I mean, he's a boring idiot. Painfully obvious, the fact that I'm here to mess with things. But trying to be, like, slick, and just absolutely horrible.
So one thing, okay, so I think we should probably go to bed. And the princess can only be in another castle so many times, and that's true. That is on my mind. is how to work that out, and what's going to be up with Idrian. Like how to move. You know, like I don't want to jump a shark. So it's on my mind. And then everybody else needs to have a shark out there too. You know, like we have a cool backstory thing that's driving things with Aloy's character with Davian, but I would like to, you know, I don't want to have that asymmetry of like, you know, you are the special wizard character, that, you know, the DM's pet character. I don't want to be in that.
You know, like you said, I thought of the backstory and I said that's a good motivation to get the ball rolling. But you know, because we also started this game before we joined the rebellion, right? So my original idea was at some point I resolved this, and then it's just you're just now in the rebellion, right? So once you're in the rebellion, the motivation can change, but for the short term, it's find my son. Right, so it's, you know, it's no big deal if it gets resolved one way or the other, because now we're rebels, right? So now and the motivation for him it was basically like rescuing people. That's his duty. So you know, like acquiring new recruits and stuff like that. So
I keep on thinking of Adrian as not mix metaphors, mix genres. So keep on thinking of as Jothi, if you catch that reference from Farscape.
No, I do not.
Guy looking for his son. They find the son, but then the series goes on because, you know, it's sometimes you're better off not finding your son.
Okay, that could happen too. That could happen too. All right, guys.
All right, I'm having fun. Have a good one.
Excellent.